It's been a little bit of an interesting start to the evening, but I'll share some more of that in a moment. Just going to quickly run through a couple of bits of housekeeping before we get started. I hope you can you all hear me okay? Yes? Yeah? Excellent. Okay. So, format for this evening, we've got 2 speakers planned. Could I just ask that your mobile phones are on silent, just out of respect for the speakers, please? Anybody here for the first time this evening? Excellent. Well, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us. Sorry it's been a little bit chaotic in terms of the start of the evening and actually getting you all over to a different venue. Just wanted to say, really sorry, but there is no Wi-Fi. I know. How do we do this? How do we cope? And of course, the venue we're in, 4G is a little bit challenging as well. But I've got to say a huge thank you to Ian and his team here at Meetup. They have been incredible. We got notification 2 hours ago that Cloudflare were not able to host us this evening. Now this was completely unexpected. And I don't know if you've ever tried to find a venue in central London for this amount of people in 2 hours. It's challenging. But the team here have been absolutely fantastic, and I will share their Twitter in a moment. Really would appreciate it if you could buy drinks at the bar. We've actually got some food coming, but also just support this small local business. This is an independently owned bar and restaurant. So please do support them in whatever way you can. They have been absolutely incredible to house us at such short notice. We think the space you're sitting in was a restaurant 2 hours ago. Your host this evening, if you have any questions at all, we will do our best to answer them. But it's so we've got Diane at the back there, right at the back, waving. We've got Paul stood in the middle here at the bar. Give us a wave, Paul. And myself. So if you do have any questions at all, do come and have a chat with one of us. If you have any feedback, we'd love to know what you think of the venue. I just want to quickly say that these events have been brought to you by WPLDN. WPLDN is a charity that supports and promotes positive mental health within the WordPress community and is supported by Green Geeks. If you're interested in knowing more about WPLDN and want to join in within our community and understand exactly what we're doing within the charity, head to wpldup.org/Slack. You drop your email address in there and you'll get an invite to come and join us. A lot of the conversation around the development and the progression of WPLDN is happening over in this Slack team. I just need to say a very quick thank you to our sponsors before we go any further this evening. At the table at the very back, there is a whole bunch of swag, so please do go and help yourself. Do make sure you grab some t-shirts. In fact, there's some extremely limited edition WordCamp London 2019 t-shirts back there. The last of the t-shirts from this year. So do make sure you grab one. But yeah, just want to say a quick thank you to Green Geeks, fast, scalable and eco-friendly hosting. The power to simplify, build and secure your websites and web apps, Plesk. Web hosting crafted with care, SiteGround providing hosting services with top speed and 24/7 expert support. And your digital experience platform built for growth, WP Engine. The WordPress multilingual plugin, Weglot, translate and display your website in multiple languages. Please do say a big thanks to each of these companies, Green Geeks, Plesk, SiteGround, WP Engine and Weglot. They're enabling us to be here, enabling us to pay for various bits related to this event. As I mentioned, this is the big one for this evening. They have, as I said, at very short notice, given us a home for this evening. So Mamuska_net on Twitter. I know as a business they would really appreciate some exposure from us as a community. So please do say thanks to them on Twitter. Has everybody got that? Yes, Excellent. Okay. I just want to say a quick thank you to our supporters as well. Blue 37, Paul Smart and Sotic. Our supporters this evening are dedicating time to the event, whereas our sponsors dedicate finances to the event. We got Leo over in the corner here with his setup on our live stream. Hello live stream, everybody out there. If you do not want to be visible on the live stream, then I suggest you stay out of this line of sight here. So this evening, I just want to introduce our speakers. Paul will be talking to us about personalizing your website and user experience within WordPress. And Rajendra will be covering how he built a WordPress business with almost zero investment. So really looking forward to that. Two very different talks this evening covering two very different, very important subject matters and topics. So really looking forward to that. Before we go any further though, I just wanted to very quickly give a quick mention to Mark. Mark unfortunately lost his life, lost his battle to cancer earlier on this week. He has been a very active member within our community. You may have seen him across the various digital communities, Facebook groups, etc. So I'd just like to take this opportunity just to dedicate this event to Mark this evening. And if this is the first time you're hearing of this, I'm very, very sorry to share this news with you. If you would like to chat with anybody around, particularly dealing with grief, then through WPLDN we can actually deliver that support. So, thank you, Mark. Before we go any further, though, I just wanted to offer this opportunity to open up the floor to you, the community, just to share if you're aware of any, if you've got any community announcements. If you're aware of any events that are going on, maybe you're hiring within your company, maybe you're looking to be hired, maybe you're aware of some courses that are going on. Anything kind of within the WordPress/open source space, just an opportunity for you to stick your hand up and say, yep, we've got this going on. We do not have a roving mic, so if you do want to just let everybody know, you just stick your hand up and I'll try and come to you with the mic, or if you could come to me, that would be great. So, does anybody have anything from the community announcements? Did me coming to you with a microphone scare you? No community announcements. Is anybody hiring? Is anybody looking to be hired? Do you want a quick word?
Hi, first time here. I'm already touting for work. So half the time I'm a project manager, half the time I'm a full stack developer. I'm right now building a WordPress site for a large German motor manufacturer, and I'll be looking for work in November. But I promised myself I wouldn't say much, so thank you.
Hang on, best way to get in contact with you?
Best way would to be look for helpful consultants. It's corny, but you can remember it.
Excellent, thank you. Ooh. Helpful consultants. So, anybody else got any community news, community announcements? No? Okay. We've got a few to share. So, since we last met, 5.2.3 has been released. I hope you're all on the latest version. So this was released 5th of September. It's a maintenance and security release. Includes 29 bug fixes and a variety of security patches. Anybody had any? I saw a few nods there. We're all on 5.2.3. Yes. Excellent. Gutenberg. So 6.5 adds an experimental block directory search. Has anybody seen this yet? A few shakes and a few nods. So the concept here is you can actually theoretically install plugins directly from your block editor. I see quite a few heads shaking at the thought of that. Have we got anybody actively testing 6.5 right now? No? Excellent. Well, Gutenberg is available as an independent plugin that can be installed, and you're able to try out these various versions and these new features as they come in. WordCamps. Next one is reasonably local is WordCamp Dublin. Out of interest, is anybody here who's not been to WordCamp? Okay. 25% of the room. If you've not been to a WordCamp before, I highly recommend attending. They're a really good opportunity to connect with the community. They are very, very low-cost events intended to be open to as many as possible, a very inclusive event. For example, WordCamp Dublin on the 19th to 20th of October is ticket price for this 2-day tech conference, €25. They're in a very, very low-cost event that that offer a huge amount of learning, huge amount of networking. They are similar to a Meetup, but on a grander scale. Generally have multi-tracks, and there's usually a contributor day associated with them as well. Speaking of WordCamps, and not particularly local, WordCamp US is coming up. So this is one of currently 3 regional WordCamps. So we have WordCamp US, WordCamp Europe, and WordCamp Asia. This will be the 1st to the 3rd of November in St. Louis in USA. These regional WordCamps are of a much larger scale than our local WordCamps. Out of interest, anybody here heading over to WordCamp US? Yeah, there's a few of us. Okay. Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you there. Yes, good question. Who's going to Dublin? Excellent. Right, just want to give a quick shout out to WooSesh. You may have heard of WordSesh. So yesterday, actually, we had WordSesh run. Yesterday's was a 12-hour tech conference run completely online. So this was a free to attend digital conference. Actually featured a number of UK speakers as well. If you head over to wordsesh.com, you'll be able to find details from yesterday's event, or you can head over to woosesh.com and find out details about the next event. So that's going to be the 9th and 10th of October. These, as I say, are virtual conferences. As part of the continual growth and development of WP Up, I just wanted to give a quick mention that WP Hugs, which some of you may have come across previously, has actually merged and become part of the WP Up family. So we're really excited about the continual growth of what's happening within WP Up. The WordCamps, the Meetups that I've mentioned, a lot of the organisation of those, along with a lot of just general discussion within our community, happens over in the UK Slack team. If you're not in the UK Slack team, I recommend heading over to wpslack.uk. Again, drop your email address in and you'll get an invite to come and join the team. There's about 60 channels, a little over 1,000 members within there. So if you this evening find that the conversations you meet interesting individuals that you want to continue the conversations with, you may find that they're actually already in this Slack team. I mentioned this last month, I just wanted to give it another quick mention. Head to WCEU is a project that we have launched within WP Up. We have a team, so myself, Paul at the back there, and several others. Have we got any other riders? I don't think we've got any riders in the room, but several other people within the community are going to be riding 3,000 kilometers from the WordCamp Europe 2019 venue in Berlin down to the 2020 venue in Porto, Portugal. The reason for riding 3,000 kilometers across 6 countries over 30 days is to raise awareness of positive physical and mental health within our community. We have just opened up the register your interest form. So if you go to head2.org/go, you'll be redirected to a form where you can register your interest. If you are potentially interested in joining us on that bike ride in any way, we've got multiple options. You can join us for the full 30 days, you can join us for 3 days, or you can join us for a single day as we ride across Europe. So again, if you're interested, go to head2.org/go. Okay, well that's enough from me. I'm now going to introduce you to Paul Lacey. Paul is the owner of Dicky Bird's co-founder of Dicky Bird Studio. So Paul has travelled down here to be with us this evening, and he is going to be sharing his talk, Let's Personalise Your WordPress User Experience with WordPress. So please give Paul a big round of applause.
This next button here?
Yes, that's the next slide.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Oh, hello. No. Hi Peter. I'm business partner here, who's sitting just over there just a minute ago, but for some reason is sat there. I guess he wants to make sure I do a good job, so I'll do my best. Okay, so hi. Before I start, also just wanted to mention a buddy of mine, Mark, who, as Dan mentioned, passed away last week. Some of you might even know Mark. I know that he probably came to this meetup a few times. I knew him online, and then I met him twice at WordCamp London. I know that if he was still around, he'd be here tonight supporting me. And so I just wanted to say, Mark, wherever you are, cheers. So, Paul here, I'm co-founder of the Dicky Bird Studio, and just to say that if anyone went to ATL, Agency Transformation Live, earlier this year, they'll know that when I go to London, I put on my autoresponder a message that I'm in a meeting in London. And that's because I'm not from London, I'm from Birmingham. So everybody south of Watford does that. So if you've got anyone who you invite to a meeting in London, and you know that they're on their way, just drop them an email and you'll see. You'll get an autoresponder that says, I've got a meeting in London. But today, I've gone up the ante because I've actually got what I've told my clients is a WordPress conference in London. So unfortunately, nobody really calls me, but because it's like a bigger event, I've put it on my voicemail this time. So if you call me on my phone, it will tell you that I'm delivering a WordPress conference in London, which to someone south of London is super impressive. The main problem is nobody actually calls me. So what I've done, I've sent an email out to all my clients, including my mum and my dad and all my family, just to say, call me urgently. So I don't normally answer the phone, but anyway. So this is us, Dicky Bird Studio. My co-founder is here, Peter. We originally founded probably around 10 years ago. We had a hiatus for a while. If you're interested to hear that story, search for Paul Lacey podcast You Gurus, and I tell that story of what a hiatus means for an agency. We reformed about 2.5 years ago. And we are a WordPress and UX agency. So we do kind of WordPress builds, white label, stuff like that, and we also do UX. We tend to be partnered with other agencies. So, for example, we are hired by some agencies in London to do some UX in the automotive industry. You'll hear more about this from Raj in the next talk, but I'm a brand ambassador. Apparently I'm called a global brand ambassador, which sounds amazing, but what that actually means is I'm just an internet-based brand ambassador. But I think it's cool. More in a bit, but just to let you know, RunCloud is a panel that you can use to manage your unmanaged servers. So if you buy a hosting from DigitalOcean or Vultr or UpCloud or one of these providers, You can use RunCloud to easily install your server and install applications like obviously WordPress, which is what we do. And we've been through this whole hosting journey like a lot of you have, whereby we started with shared hosting, then we tried some managed hosting like WP-Engine, those sort of things. Then maybe we tried some things like Cloudways, and now we're kind of taking that next step and moving to a unmanaged cloud solution using a panel like RunCloud. So I'm a brand ambassador because I use it. We started off using it for our development servers, and now we're starting to use it for client servers as well. One other thing I'm involved in, I heard from Leo here just a minute ago that Nathan Wrigley is watching online. So I thought I'd give him a shout out and just say that every Monday I'm supposed to be a kind of co-host on a WP Builds news show. I'm not always the co-host because I didn't book in on the booking form for all the different weeks. So from time to time I'm a co-host on a WP Builds news show, which is a very mediocre show that talks about the latest news of all that's going on in WordPress, and sometimes a little bit outside of WordPress as well. So, in terms of Dickiebirds and our vision, as you can see here, our long-term vision for everything that we do is to enable our businesses to better align themselves with their users. That's something that when we reformed, we decided that it was the direction. Really before, when we started 10 years ago, we were just a bunch of guys making websites and we did it to pay the bills. We're still doing that, but we've also got a vision. So this is what I'm here to talk about today. So after all this rambling about what I'm doing and podcasts and whatnot, we should probably get talking about website content personalization. This is a definition that I got off Google, because for us it's just something that we do. But if you want a Google-based definition, then you could say that website content that changes based on the unique things that it knows about the visitor. You could also say that it just simply is a helpful website. Or if you want a kind of more patronizing version to tell to your clients, then how about this one? Real-time user experience design for websites. Peter, do you approve of this one? Peter is our UX guy. I made this one up myself. But the cool thing about website personalization for us as a small agency is, just along with our vision, is that it helps businesses better align themselves with their users. Take, for example, when you go into a coffee shop. So does anybody here sometimes work in a coffee shop, Starbucks or Costa or something like that? Yep, a few people, or even Wetherspoons, whatever it might be. You're in there for the first time, you have that feeling that you should buy a bunch of coffees because it's not your office, right? But after a while, you go in there a few times and you get to know the people in there. And they're like, hey, Paul, how's it going? Would you like the Americano again with just a dash of milk? And you're like, yeah, thanks. And they're like, how's things going with that project you were talking about the other day? And you're like, it's going really well. And they're like, cool, by the way, we've reserved your table for you. We knew you were coming in today. So you're like, wow, that's brilliant, thank you. And you go and sit at your table, you feel completely relaxed. You don't think that you've got to pretend that you're buying stuff from this shop all day to use their table and their Wi-Fi. And that to me is a really great personalized customer experience. The thing about website customer content personalization, it can be a bit creepy. So if your user feels like they're being watched online, then they're probably going to leave your website. So an example I can give is whenever I go into a shoe shop or a clothes shop or something like that, I'll go into the shop and I kind of just want to go in, and I'm an introvert. I know I'm standing up here, but believe me, I'm an introvert. I'll go into the shop and I want to look at the stuff that I want to look at, and I just want to be left alone. But if the person in the shop comes up to me and very politely says, hey, Paul, he doesn't know my name, actually, hey, can I help you with anything? I'm like, no, cool. I'm all right. Thanks, mate. I'm cool. And I put on this, and suddenly I tense up, and I look at another pair of shoes, but I'm not even looking at them. I'm just staring at them, trying to look normal, and then I'm out of there. Because I was aware that I walked in there, and I was aware that I was being watched, and I didn't like it. I just wanted to get on with my own stuff. And so that to me is a bad customer experience. So content personalization on websites. The bad news is, who works for a massive company here? Well, yeah, so we subcontract for a massive company, but yeah. Anybody else work for a big company that's got lots of money? There you go. So the good news is that website personalization, so I'm just going to look at you for the rest of the night, because unfortunately nobody else can do website personalization because it's really expensive. But it's okay, because I'm lying. Everyone can do it. It's pretty affordable. As with everything in WordPress, you tend to see, big companies doing stuff at a top level, and then WordPress tends to, as always, get the stuff filtered down, and then we can all do it. Often for free, often in open source. So everyone can do content personalization. The other myth that I want to bust is that it's all about money. So a lot of people think that content personalization is purely about, is that all right? Yeah, cool. Yeah. I was supposed to keep talking then, wasn't I? Yeah. It's purely about having a website that recommends products to you and then tries to upsell you stuff based on the thing that you've done. So it's not all about money. That is where we probably see it a lot when we shop on Amazon and eBay and all these different stores, because those companies have figured out that it totally works and it helps the user get to what they want, and to a certain point exploits us a little bit to buy things that we didn't even need. But the fact is, all websites can use content personalization. Any website that needs to have any kind of conversion, whether that's signing up for a newsletter or helping someone for a charity, will benefit from the website changing based on how the user is behaving on the website or how they might have behaved before on the website. I just think that sometimes websites, in how we've done them in the past, can be a little bit one-dimensional compared to real-life scenarios. A website is essentially a conversation. You go on there, you read it, it tells you something, you respond, and then you make some decisions. And when you talk to a person, especially if you've known them before, it's really odd if they act if they've never seen you before. So who can use it? Website owners. Anybody a website owner here? Apart from the agency website, like bloggers, agencies, freelancers. And like I say there, anybody that has a situation where their website has a purpose. And so if your website doesn't have a purpose, I'm not sure why you've got a website. So if you've got a website, it's got a purpose, it has people coming to it, you want them to do something, website content personalization can help them with that process. So we're obviously a WordPress group here, and how do we do this with WordPress? So I've come across an awesome plugin called Logic Hop. There's another one called If So, but this is my favorite one. So Logic Hop is the plugin that I'm going to show you. I'm not doing a live demo, I'm just going to show you some screenshots. But it's the plugin that I want to show you tonight, how it works, and how easy it is to use. I'm just going to show you the basics of it, and then show you a couple of examples of how it might be applied, so you can use your own imagination for your own scenarios. Not sure why I did that. So website personalization is mostly based on conditions. So here's a condition. Somebody came to the website for the first time, yes or no. Based on they came to the website for the first time from a particular country. And you can keep expanding on that. Time of day, all sorts of different scenarios. Have they visited this page? Did they come from an advert? Did they come from social? Did they come from Twitter? Basically, there's tons and tons of things that you can know about a user based on when they arrive on their website. And website content personalization, like I said earlier on the Google-based explanation, is changing the content on the website based on what you know about the user at a particular point. We're going to get slightly technical here. I'm going to talk about what Logic Hop, the plugin, is all based on. So at the beginning, it's conditions. So those are the things that you are asking a question. Is this user this or that, etc.? And then based on that, Logic Hop, and I'll explain this in a minute, has things called logic blocks, which are blocks of content. Show this content if this condition exists. A logic bar is part of the plugin. It's similar to a logic block, but it's one of those strip bars at the top of a website. And it's built into the plugin because I guess Logic Hop knows that these kind of announcement bars at the top of a website are very popular. Tags are the thing that you can use in your code to insert if statements in there. Goals. So a goal is something that you can set. For example, if you had a bar at the top that said, hey, are you an agency owner? Yes. Okay. If someone clicks yes, you can say that goal was achieved. And the goal that we achieved was set that this person is an agency owner. And once you've got a goal, you can include that in one of your conditions. And I'll show you that in some of the examples. Plugin integrations. It integrates with a bunch of plugins like Beaver Builder, Elementor, I think Visual Composer, and all sorts of page builders and themes. And also platform integrations like, I think, ConvertKit and those kind of, MailChimp and those kind of tools, so that if you have your MailChimp code inside your website, for instance, it would know that this user is one of your subscribers. So if you know that someone is one of your subscribers, you can add that into the mix of one of your conditions. Why bother showing them the newsletter sign up if they're already a subscriber, for instance? And more. When you create a logic block, the way that you insert it into a page is using a shortcode. You can also insert these logic blocks into the page with PHP code. You can also insert the blocks into your page with some JavaScript tags, which is perfect for when you need to use Ajax to load that content into your page without caching, messing up the whole situation. That's what the tags look like. The documentation is there. It's very good documentation. You don't have to use them. You can use the shortcodes when you want to. But for people that like to do that kind of thing, you can do it. There's an example of a integration. This is Beaver Builder. For anybody who uses Beaver Builder, we're big fans of Beaver Builder. And this shows that within the Beaver Builder module there, in the row, you've got the conditions that you can do without using shortcodes and without using tags. So I don't know if anyone is sitting here thinking, yeah, but what about GDPR? If you're following people around, surely, what about GDPR and stuff? So Logic Hop know about this too. So they've looked into this, and they've got some GDPR options in there so that you can make Logic Hop completely GDPR compliant. They've got some advice on how you should talk in your privacy policies about this. Plus, you can put a setting in Logic Hop that makes it so it only records the actions using a session, PHP session. So it's not storing any information about that user in a cookie. So you can't, for instance, if the person decides they opt out of a particular GDPR setting, you won't know if they're a first user or a second user or a third user. You'll just know the stuff that you can find out based on the time that they are on your side. So to show you what Logic Hop looks like behind the scenes, this is a condition that I set up. Obviously, I created this presentation weeks ago. I've been very well prepared. And some of my other slides, I hid that part, but I clearly forgot to hide that I did it yesterday on this one. So anyway, so we've got the example condition here. you name your condition what you want. A condition, by the way, is just like a custom post type. Here are your conditional statements here. So, for example, the most basic of conditions. Is this the user's first visit? If first visit, this is the user's first visit. Okay? That's a simple condition. You can make a slightly more complicated condition. Is this the visitor's first visit from the US? I was going to say UK, but I wasn't sure what the country code was for the UK, so I changed it. I think it's GB. I don't think there is a UK one. Is there? Is it GB? I don't know. So I changed it to US anyway. So here's a kind of more complicated but still a simple condition. Is this the user's first visit? And is the location from country code US? There is tons of conditions in there, and that are built into Logic Hop. Plus, you can create your own based on the goals. Here's a logic block. So you have the conditions first, and then a logic block is the content that will display based on a condition. So with this logic block, you end up putting a short code into your content. And obviously, because this is a visitor from the US, I've applied relevant words there, howdy. My content is here. So the content that if the visitor is from user's first visit from the US, that condition that I create, if the condition is met, then show the content, howdy partner, not seen you round these parts. That's how Americans talk, all of them. If this isn't the visitor's first time visit, then we'll just say howdy partner. You can have as many of these different conditions with if statements and else ifs as you want, and then the final else is what you display if none of those different conditions are met. This is one of those logic bars that I was telling you about. It works very similar to a logic block, except that they've built in a kind of user interface to help you create a designed bar that goes at the top of your site or the bottom of the site, depending on the condition that you set. So, I've called this howdy bar. You can call it what you want. If the user's first visit is from the US and that condition is met, then show this logic bar. Howdy partner, get your free gift. Okay? You can customize the code that is in there. You can customize the basic styles. It also will put a body class in the page for you, and you can completely customize the styles of your bar as needed. So you can put whatever HTML you are in there, and then it gives you the overall wrapper class there. So you can use it to a very simple level, or you can go really advanced. So by really advanced, I'm talking about some CSS. Yeah. I'm not that good. Here's one of those goals that I was talking about. I've called this one took the bait. Okay? You can see this doesn't relate in any way to the condition or the block or the bar that I set before. So how does this relate? And just to say that the point of setting a goal is that you can give somebody a lead score. So a lead score is like an extra condition. So you can, for instance, have somebody on the site that went to this page and this page and this page and this page. And two of those pages might have given a condition of a lead score of +5. And you might say, I want to know that anybody with a lead score of 10, a new logic bar will show up. So that's a goal that says that if someone clicks that link at the top, I am an agency owner, I want to give them a 5 points on my lead score, because perhaps I'm selling something to agency owners, so I know a bit more about that user, and I can use that data to change the content on the website accordingly. Remember just a few seconds ago, hopefully you can remember just a few seconds ago, the howdy bar that I talked about. Now it's going to be difficult for you to see this from back there, but this is exactly the same howdy bar, but this time it's got a class here that says logic hop click. Okay, that's just based in the documentation of logic hop. If you put this logic hop click in there, it means that it takes note of something specific when you click that button, get your free gift. And what it does, it says that if you click this button, data goal equals took the bait. So if you remember our goal, was called took the bait. So that means with logic hop that when you click this button, the code that we put there, that's all in the documentation for logic hop, adds a score of +5 to your user's lead score. Lead score, that's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah, lead score. Right. Just going to give you 3 really brief examples, I think I've done 3, of how you might use this. Okay, first of all, Dan, the owner of Logic Hop, a guy called Michael, said that he'd love to donate a copy of Logic Hop to WPLDN. So I'll just drop you an email next week or something. Hopefully he's watching. So how could Logic Hop be used on the WPLDN website with your free lifetime license that you'll get? So, for example, a couple of years ago, it was my birthday. I was watching some YouTube, which is what you do on your birthday. I was flicking through the WP Elevation. If anybody knows WP Elevation, I was flicking through their latest videos, and apparently it'd been Mental Health Week a couple of weeks before that, and a video popped up with a guy called Michael Killen, who some of you might know, and it was him talking about his struggles with mental health. So what happened was I watched that video, and it really connected with me. It came at the right time because I was actually having some problems at that time, and I watched that video, connected with me, and the next day I went to the doctors and spoke to them about my own problems because that content came to me at the right time. Now, put this in context with WPLDN website. The WPLDN website has got a problem that a lot of websites have got, in that it's trying to cover multiple things. It's covering physical health, business health, mental health. There's another one, isn't there? Which one? Skills, yeah. So let's say that somebody goes to a blog post on the WPLDN website. You could set that a condition is that if someone visited this particular blog post that was on Mental Health Week about a particular issue, how about the next page that they visit show them a featured podcast that's really relevant to mental health? So you can stop making the website all about physical health, skills, physical health, business health. You can say this person arrived via Twitter to a blog post about mental health. We can make a kind of guess that they are probably more interested in finding out about mental health. How about show them a relatable story that they might watch, and then that increases the chance of a conversion. And by conversion, I mean that person who needs help reaches out. Okay? If anybody uses Google Ads or any kind of pay-per-click, then usually the situation is that somebody searches for something online. I can't think of any particular scenarios, but what they search for, whatever they search for, it's proven that when you see the results on the page, a person is more likely to click an ad or a link that matches the words that they actually typed in, because those words are fresh in their mind at that particular point. So they type the words, they click the ad. They click the ad, and then they go to a landing page, and the landing page doesn't match anything that they've typed, seen in the ad, and then they go to the landing page. You've just paid for that click, and your increase of bounce rate is higher than if this page knew where the source was. You knew it was from a Google ad, you knew it was from a particular version of the Google ad, and you could put a UTM code in there. So if anyone doesn't know what a UTM code is, it's a URL variable that you can use to identify and track where people have come from to arrive on your website. So you can put a UTM code there that says this came from this particular ad, and then your landing page, in its heading 1 at the top of the page, can match to a certain extent much better the title than the default one, than whatever else might be. So you've got the keyword, the ad, the landing page, all in sync. That's a really simple and popular way that people use content personalization. Okay, there's a company in Canada called Sleepy's. They sell over-the-counter and online sleeping aid pills. I don't know what's in them, but you can buy them over the counter. They know that if somebody in Canada, which is where you can buy them, comes to their website at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning, they're probably in desperate need of sleep. So they can push content to that user that is specific about chronic sleep problems and insomnia, and offer them even for instance, a lead magnet of some sort or some helpful content, and obviously a special offer to buy their product. So that's how a real customer is using Logic Hub. They're not our client, but the guy told me about it. So, how much does Logic Hub cost? I don't know if that's allowed. Sorry, I didn't check. It was too much chaos when we moved venue. It's not an affiliate link. Logic Hub for one website, $99 a year. I'm not affiliated with Logic Hub in any way. It's just a tool that we love and we use. 10 sites, $199. 100 sites, $499. And again, the guy, Michael, when I chatted to him about getting a free license for WP and Up, offered to give a discount code for any of the people here tonight. So if you were interested in Logic Hub, this code will stay active until the end of this year, until 31st of December. WPLDN, so it should be quite memorable. Or just take a photo of that if you're interested. I think there's a 14-day money back or a 30-day money back situation on it. The documentation on this plugin is awesome. Okay, so that's pretty much me done. You can find more about me. You won't find too much about me on our website, but you can find our company at dickiebirds.studio, our agency website. I'd love to connect with any of you guys on Twitter. I love meeting people at WordPress events, WordCamps, and Meetups and stuff like that. And unfortunately, Sleepy's isn't available in the UK. So I've been on a lot of podcast interviews. So if you do have any insomnia or sleep problems, you can just Google Paul Lacey podcast. All your problems will be solved. And that's me done. Thank you. Any questions at all?
Paul, thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Great talk. We do have some time for questions if we have any at all, but we are also tethered. So if you do have questions, would you want to just step up to the front here and we can use the microphone?
Hello. Have you got any actual stats from your clients on the uplifting conversions when you're doing particular types of encouragement to sign up and things like that? I've just been on their website and already signed up, so I can see how it works. But to sell it into our clients, what's really useful is to actually be able to give them some numbers.
Thank you. So we're actually quite new to this. So what's going to happen in our agency is Peter is doing like the high-level UX stuff for some of the big kind of blue-chip companies, and then he teaches me some of his stuff, and then it filters down to us, and then we try to start introducing it to our clients. So we're actually quite new to this, and this is why we're sort of quite excited about it at this moment, because we're like, wow, we don't know exactly the kind of improvements that it will make to people. We just absolutely believe that a better user experience will definitely create a better conversion rate. But I can tell you that there are tons of statistics online. When you start searching into use cases for content personalization, it's always in the hundreds of percents. So it's definitely a super effective thing. But like I said earlier, if you go down the creepy route, then you probably get less conversions and higher bounces. Just like, a lead magnet pop-up is great if you're interested in that pop-up. But if you go to a website, it's just like pop, 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 pop. It's like, oh, just please, just go away. So these kind of tools, if you've got the right strategy behind it, then it's a great thing to try. And then if you can combine that with A/B testing, A/B split testing, then it's a great thing to offer your clients as a add-on service. So, with our agency, what we do is we do a discovery phase, then we build what we call the viable product, and we don't call it the minimal viable product because it doesn't sound good enough. So we call it the viable product, and then we have a stage called growth to goals, which is where we try and bring in the cool stuff that we talked about at the beginning of the project that our client didn't have human resource to deal with throughout the project, and then say, hey, shall we return to those cool things? Let's try a bit of content personalization and just start with really simple stuff so that they understand what you're doing. The Google Ads one is a great one because they can get that, so, okay.
Yeah, the thing is, well, I cannot say any names here, but one quite big automotive company is using system like that for about 1 year in Japan, and so far it looks very, very promising. Unfortunately, I cannot say any more details about that at this point. Sorry.
This is my business partner, Peter. If you're wondering why we're called Dicky Birds, my name's Paul, his name's Peter, so if any of you know the nursery rhyme, we're based on that's how we're called that.
I was just wondering, do you have access to the analytics? Like if you use Google Analytics, you can see like 100 users came from the United States. With Logic Hub, do you have access to that raw data?
There is an integration with Google Analytics. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that, for instance, if you're using the UTM codes and stuff like that, I know in the documentation I saw some stuff about that you can, for instance, if a particular goal is met, you can put some code in there that does a Google Analytics, event. So you can say that, if a user went here and then went here and went here, you can push an event to Google Analytics, as far as I understand. But if you check out the on Logic Hop's website, or just reach out to Michael, the founder of Logic Hop, he does online demos for people, so you can book in and have a chat with him on Zoom, and he'll take you through all the stuff. So he gave me some time, and I just wanted to know the basics, to be honest. But that kind of stuff, I think they've got that covered, to be honest, because I saw something about it, but I didn't fully understand how it worked. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got time for one more question, if there is any. Excellent. Well, Paul, thank you so much. We're so grateful for you giving your time this evening, travelling down to be with us. Thank you for obviously the way you've done around the plugin for Logic Hop for WPLDN. Really genuinely grateful for it. Thank you. Please, big round of applause. Okay, we're now going to take a quick break. There is some free food, which is all good. Please go help yourself to the food. Please also do head to the bar and make sure we support Ian and the business here, because they have done amazing stuff for us this evening. get started. Okay, right. I'm now going to introduce you to Rajendra Jul. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, sorry. So Raj is the CMO for RunCloud. He also happens to be the CEO for 2 of his own businesses, so is an incredibly busy man. This evening, Raj is going to be demonstrating how he built his WordPress business with almost zero investment. So please give Rajendra a big round of applause.
Who was that? All right. How did you stand, really? Well, that goes right in your eyes. All right, all the free food is over. I was actually vouching for one, but then I thought that, I have a talk, so I'd rather focus on that. So, guys, I am from India, and I'm jet lagged. All right? But then, out of the curiosity, I started searching for the meaning of jet lag. And I realized it's all about you messing up with your sleeping timings, It doesn't matter if you're traveling or not traveling. It's all about you're not sleeping in your time zone. And I realized that I'm bloody jet lagged since 2012. It's like the day I decided to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I'm like, I'm jet lagged from this point onward. I sleep at 5 o'clock, I wake up at 7 o'clock, and I don't know what am I doing, I'm in my boxers doing some meetings on video, and then I'm taking a nap. Oh my God, I'm jet lagged. So that meaning, it's really kicked me in, and I'm like, dude, I'm like always jet lag. I don't have to travel, But other than that, the best part about my talk is it started right after the free food. And the second best thing is we have some free cake after this. In between whatever is going to happen, I'm out of it. Like, you guys are on your own, okay? So by now you guys know me. You guys can stick to Raj. Let's not mess around with my name. It's actually Rajendra Zore, but you guys can call me Raj. I'm almost everywhere now. Once you become a good part of a booming startup, you kind of push your PR so hard that you're kind of everywhere. So you can Google my name and you'll find me everywhere. So moving on, this is pretty much going to be my talk, okay? I think this title itself is so clickbaity. Like, dude, like $18 a year, and then you're claiming that you have started earning like thousands of dollars per month? No. But yeah, this is kind of real. And you can see that if you have followed the link for the meetup, you must have realized that I have very smartly added almost zero investment. So that almost is me borrowing a credit card from my sister for $300 initial investment. Okay? I don't remember returning that back to her. I may have to liquidate some stocks for her. And nonetheless, this is a true story, and I believe that if WordPress is free, it should not cost one a fortune to build a business around it. All right? And to be honest, I'm a college dropout. I never completed my college. And I was once a programmer. I was very passionate, but it's been decades. I haven't coded anything except CSS. Like right-click, inspect, and change some CSS and feel yourself as a geek. That is what I have been doing, guys. But it doesn't matter if you know the coding or you don't know the coding. You have big bucks in you or you don't. you have big investors in you or not. It doesn't really matter when you come into the WordPress world. You actually make your way out. You don't need big bucks or big name or anything like that. Or I have seen, homemakers, the housewives, they're running blogs which are earning millions of dollars every month. That's freaking really insane. And I can say that because I am maintaining 500 plus sites, and hundreds of them are the bloggers. They're running the recipe blogs and earning thousands and thousands of dollars every month, So I think it should not cost a fortune. So moving on. So how many of you can relate to this? Yeah? My man, yeah. Just raise your hand, man. Because it's just us sitting alone, working with some of the freelancers, and we are like award-winning multidisciplinary agency or something like that, just to get some decent clients on board. But trust me, I think we are not really faking. It's all about the client's perspective. Before we get them on board, they all want to work with some big organization, all right? Until the day they start working with us, it's just one-man show, and we show them that you didn't need a team of 10 or hundreds of people working on your project. I can bloody handle your project with two or couple of guys working under me and freelancers, right? So the point is, I think this is okay to get the clients, but then the clients, it's more like we build the customer advocacy, and they go and they talk to their big friends. Like, dude, go to this guy. He runs a small agency, but he does a real job, That is how I built my first company back in 2012 out of nothing. And I managed to work with 100 plus clients in across 8 plus countries. And I was kind of like this. Okay, I never claimed the awards or anything, but I was pretty much like this, editing my emails from, we are pleased to help you, I am pleased to help you, to we are pleased to help you. Who are we? I'm sitting right there alone, So it's a kind of a story to every solopreneur there. And I started my first company with a bunch of my partners and a small team. But back in 2015, I decided that let's experiment with this another buzzword, and that is solopreneur. What is that? So the first thing starts with how to pronunciate that, and then go along with what that really means, So today I'm going to cover why it should not cost you a fortune to build a business around WordPress, how I managed to build my own way out, and what are the things that are working not with just the WordPress business, but it is also working with my multi-million-dollar business, which is a SaaS business. We call it RunCloud. And the free cake that we are going to cut after this is celebrating 2 years of incorporating RunCloud. And we are currently serving in clients across 100 plus countries with over 172,000 domains running on our platform. So we are going to celebrate that. This is pretty much my professional journey. So as you can see, this guy standing here started as a McDonald's guy, all right? I know pretty much how to mop the floor and clean the toilets as well. So you're welcome. So I started my journey right there in McDonald's back in 2007. I was enjoying my free employee meals at the time. And I thought that this is a great job, like you have free employee meal. And then I kept moving on. I enjoyed myself delivering ice cream and working in call centers and making my own way up until I got unemployed. And I decided to try myself in the new city. I started working in that new city, and I realized after 5 months, I got kicked out of the job because I was incompetent. And I was like, okay, very good. I'm incompetent. I got kicked out. That's good. So nobody is going to hire an incompetent guy. See, I have to make sure my words, because it's getting live streamed. So I got kicked out because I was incompetent, and the next thing or the next option that I left with in the new city with no job, no money, almost homeless, almost again, So I decided to take a next step as an incompetent, and that is start your own company. Show your complete incompetence there. And I've been showing my incompetence since 2012, building multiple startups and currently running a multi-million-dollar company, which is a global company. So I'm pretty much there as an incompetent and as a college dropout at the same time. So that's pretty much my journey. It's still on. I'm not dead yet, so I'm still working on it. So anyone remember this movie? Right? 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 So when you're going through difficult times in your life, you suddenly start relating to every emotional movie. Suddenly every motivating quote is a part of your life, You end up printing some of those and putting it across your, your living room and wherever you go. I need motivation. For me, it was just hope, that hope things will be better for me tomorrow. And I watched this movie and I'm like, this is pretty much good. Like, it's hope is a good thing. Let me stick to it. If that guy can break out of that, that prison, I can break out of this small thing, and I can make it through the life. So this is pretty much the code that I go by in life. So let's start with the first thing, and that is personal branding. Did you guys realize I have done so much of my own personal branding right here, right now? Did you guys realize? Yeah? Listening to my story? What is story? I'm selling myself. Am I sold? Who's buying me? All right. So the point is personal branding. Now, personal branding, when we say personal branding, it is not about an individual. It is also about your entity, the business that you're running, the business that you're representing. It's all about branding, So I'm sure it's not Steve Jobs saying that, but yeah. We are moving to Apple products. It's all about branding. We are buying new version, of Apple iPhones, and we are confused that which feature did they really upgraded or what changed. It's all about branding, I was suggesting my friend there, go for Mac, MacBook. It's Apple. Do you have more reasons to go for Apple? No, it's Apple. So I was telling him. So it's all about the people, the people, they want to connect with people. So you are running a small business. I can assure you that if you are running a WordPress business, it's not $1 billion business, okay? Let's be very realistic about this. It could be $1 million business, it could be a 6 figures business, but you cannot be $1 billion company just by running a WordPress service, unless you crack some good product and you're making billions out of that. But when you're running a small business, it is really, really important for you to connect with your clients, connect with your users. Your prospect should resonate with your brand message, and you are the face of the brand. And this particular practice, it applies not just to the small businesses, it applies to the bigger businesses that you run. And I can say that because right from starting that small agency back in 2012 to currently running a multi-million-dollar business, I can vouch on this particular thing, that it has been working for us, So how do we do that? Talked about personal branding, but how do we really go about this? So there are zillions and millions of things available online. If you Google like personal branding, how to do the personal branding and all that, and they all ask you to start a blog. But I can't write. My English is pathetic, as you can see for past 5-10 minutes, it's pathetic. Don't force me to write a blog. My personal branding will be completely drained by then. So I cracked my own way up on doing the personal branding. The first thing I went ahead with was improvising my social profiles. Putting up a decent picture, a bio, so that people know what I am doing, what I am there to offer. And I have picked up a platform. On social media is amazing if you do it right. But start with one platform. You're not a celebrity with 2 million followers that you are like everywhere on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, everywhere. No. Try to dominate one platform. If Facebook is working for you, go for it. If Twitter is working for you, go for it. But find where your niche is. What kind of people or what kind of business segment you want to target. Start with that. Back then, I wanted to target the bloggers. Bloggers were all over Twitter, you know, and I wanted to be in the community close to digital marketing, search engine optimization, and everything surrounding to the digital marketing. So the first step I did was I picked my platform, and that was Twitter. This was back in 2015, May. I started with around 70 followers then, and the first strategy was being a part of Twitter chats. How many of you know what Twitter chat is? Have you been a part of any? Are you guys on Twitter? Right? So Twitter chat is an amazing, amazing place to start building yourself or building your profile on Twitter. Okay? So I started with Twitter chat. I made a complete list. Even if you Google like Twitter chats, and you'll get the complete planner out of it. I started with the Twitter chat, and I was pretty much dedicated about it. Like I'm waking up 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning and being a part of a Twitter chat that is running way far from where I stay, from my time zone. But I was quite dedicated. Within a month, I had 1,500 followers, just like that. And those were real people. Those are not spam. Those are the real people who are part of that particular Twitter chat, and they read my replies, they read my engagement, they see how I'm helping others, and they started following me. That's like real building, you know, real personal branding, and you're building your audience. And I kept continuing that, and currently if you go to my Twitter profile, if you go there, just follow me. And I have more than 4,000 followers as of right now. So I'm a celebrity, okay? All right, so what did I do? It's a simple thing. Pick one platform that you are sure that you will be dedicatedly sitting there and probably interested in researching further. Pick one platform, pick your niche, what you're interested in. You like bloggers? Go chase them. You like to get yourself established in digital marketing forum? Just go for it. Then pick the relevant Twitter chats. This is just related to Twitter back in 2015 when I started. But currently, Facebook groups are working for me. You know, back in 2017, I started joining a couple of Facebook groups. I ended up becoming the admin for over 40 plus top WordPress groups on Facebook. And we are currently running more than 100,000 members collectively in all the groups. So Facebook is really working for me. Twitter is totally slowed down, but I'm maintaining myself over there. But back in 2015, Twitter was a big buzzword. And I wanted to explore, and I wanted to have a piece of it, you know. So that is how I started. So if you are going on Twitter to build your personal branding, start with Twitter chat. Pick up the most active Twitter chats and be a part of it. And make sure that aligns with your interest. Second thing, if Twitter is not your game, go for Facebook groups. Try to help people, give back to the community. If you know any bit of thing, even if it's a basic plugin, just tell them, just engage with them. The engaging and giving back is how you start building your personal branding organically. Without any PR, without any dirty tricks, without anything, without even writing a blog for that matter, you know. So now you have built your personal branding. So how do you leverage that? Number one is give back to the community. My friend here, Paul, truly believes, and he has built his business around with one thought, and that is giving back to the community. Trust me, it really works. Giving back will never make you poor. It really works. It comes back in multiple forms you could even think about, you know. So the first thing is, the moment you become a part of any community or any Facebook group, be a silent member initially, learn the pattern, learn the kind of questions that are coming in, go through the past questions, learn from it, and then start giving back. In groups, there's a funny thing, like a lot of things get repeated. You know, people are asking the same questions, which web hosting I should go for. You know, which caching plugin should I use? I think that is a basic start. And you can tell people or recommend people about, okay, this is a particular plugin that is working well. People have been talking about, go and try about it. It's all about being that significant and a prominent member in that particular forum. You know, and that is again, a small trick of building a personal brand. Personal branding is all about making yourself significant and noticeable among the people, you know. The other things are, if you are in the forum and you end up becoming a friend to other business owner, show the equal interest in knowing their story, how they emerged, how they started their business, what are they up to with their business, you know. And trust me, it's always okay to share your secrets, business secrets, because end of the day, it's all about execution. Even if you're sharing that idea, or if the other person is stealing the idea, it's all about the right set of execution, which you, as an original thought, can process that in a right manner. Yeah? So be open whenever you're in a forum or in any public forum. Just be open about it. You know something, just share. Nobody is going to steal that and make $1 billion out of it, you know. So once you build the personal branding, it is really, really important for you to leverage your personal branding to push your agencies and humanize your brand. Back in 2015, I started exploring solopreneurship, and I started host my blog for bloggers. And by that time, since this is 2015 when I started, that is like 2015 October, I started host my blog. And I started taking Twitter serious back in 2015 May. So within that 5-6 months, I have built a good set of followers. I have engaged myself with a good amount of Twitter chats which were relevant to digital marketing and bloggers. And people started to know me, like, okay, this guy is legit. And again, 4,000 plus followers. He's a celebrity already, you know. He's a trustworthy guy. Then I started leveraging my followers and my personal branding and my social status to leverage my new startup that was Host My Blog. Whenever you start something, people want to go back and check who is that person. You know, I have seen this thing that people are often hesitant to work with the faceless brands and faceless companies unless you're Google and, you know, you make people helpless. You know, so if you're not Google or Facebook, just add your face. You know, don't use any weird pictures on your Facebook profile if you want to be a part of a community. The first thing is, as I said, start by setting up your profile. You have beautiful face, click a picture and put it up there. Okay? So humanizing your brand is all about giving your brand a voice. So when I reply to my emails, when I reply to any of the tweet, or I reply to any of the message that comes on my Facebook profile, I make sure that my brand has a voice. The person on the other side should feel like, okay, they're talking to a human. They're not talking to robots. Okay? So this is kind of my success tweet. So back in 2016, so I'll tell you a small story, what happened. So this is something to remember, remember this. 30th October is my birthday, okay? So if you want to send some gifts, I'll give you my address. So 30th October 2015, I started a brand called Host My Blog. I was really excited that this is my second startup, and I'm really excited about the idea of helping the bloggers take a leap from the free platforms like bloggers and WordPress.com to a self-hosted platform. And it was a great idea because a lot of bloggers, they were hesitant to even get started, you know. So now, I started this great idea. As I said, I borrowed a credit card from my sister, $300. I still owe that to her. So now, I started my company. After, you know, kind of doing some basic post on Twitter, there's no much of an engagement coming in. People are not trusting me. Engagement is there. Views are there, impressions are there, but they don't trust the brand enough to hand over their decade-old blog to us. So, I offered them a free, because bloggers or anybody online, they like free. I offered them free account. Wow, I got 2 clients. 2 months in business, 2 clients, wow. I said, dude, you are not doing good. Just get back to your first business, forget about this one. You get back to that later. Almost for 8 months, right from December of a great success with 2 clients with free accounts, I decided to hibernate for next 8 months. And I got back to my real business. Now in August, I started thinking that, oh my God, my renewal is due, because the server that I purchased for 1 year, I can't go back to my sister and ask for credit card all over again. Because dude, the one that you swiped last year, that's still due. I was like, no, I have 2 months in hand, let me do something about it. I set myself a target that if this thing doesn't work and my server expires, my business expires, end of story. So August, what was the date? Yeah, 10th of August, I woke up with some weird motivation. I don't remember what, but I woke up with a weird motivation that, dude, I'm gonna crack this thing because I owe $300 to my sister. Now, I went and I tweeted this. You know the difference between this tweet and all the previous tweets and social posts that I was doing? I was doing some stupidities. I forgot my actual route where I started. You know what the route was? Route was a real engagement. Route was me being real. Route was me being a voice behind that particular tweet. And what I'm doing? Hey, see this offer, see that offer, all spam thing. This one tweet, and it got amazing engagement. Okay, did I just cut that retweet and all that? That doesn't matter. But the point is, this tweet has changed the game for Host My Blog. Everyone started engaging with this and replying to this tweet. Because there was a question in that. I'm trying to talk to them, you know? And they started replying. They started sharing it. They started retweeting it. And as a result, I started getting a lot of DMs. And people started expressing their interest in taking a leap to a self-hosted blogging. That was the first step of trust. And the trust was built with a real communication by humanizing my brand. This is what you call humanizing your brand. You talk to your clients. You don't just slam your offers on them. They don't care about it, you know? Wow. See, I told you I'm a celebrity. All right, so what I started back in 2015 about leveraging the social media for my businesses, there were a couple of people or the agencies, they were seeing and they were checking how this guy is using and leveraging the social media for his business. And as a result, they approached me and they awarded me. So basically this August 2016 was really, really lucky for me. You know why? Because my business kicked in. I managed to pay off my sister, the $300, whatever. And they gave me an award. You know? And the funny part is, this guy was chasing me to give me an award and I was chasing him away. Like, dude, don't spam me. And the founder approached me that my team is trying to reach out to you because we have followed hundreds of digital strategies in India and you're one of the award winner. So please, can you share the details with us? It is not a spam. I'm like, dude, you look legit and I trust you. I gave my details and one morning I woke up to this. I'm like, yeah, it's okay to sometimes trust, you know. But everything happened when I was not expecting anything out of it. I was just being myself and trying to leverage my understanding with digital platforms and leveraging and humanizing my brands or whatever the brands I create online. I also have one more example. RunCloud Twitter. We were following 900 people and the followers were few hundred. The account itself shows a desperate attempt to get the followers. And what is that desperate attempt? Follow, unfollow, follow, unfollow. That's a real crazy thing to do online. The first strategy, I subscribed to this particular tool to unsubscribe the followers. And I unsubscribed all the followers that I am following. And then I started making some real sense out of my Twitter account. You can actually go on RunCloud and you can check. You know, it is just again a promotion to get more followers. So I started making a complete sense out of my tweet. And can you imagine, we were on 0 following and currently we have 1,000+ followers. The real followers, the users who come there, engage with us, who go negative on us, who kind of beat the shit out of us, but they are there, they are talking to us, and we are talking to them. That's a communication channel. Don't use that as a spam channel. That's a communication channel. Facebook groups, Twitter accounts, your social account, even if it's personal, it's a communication channel. Don't promote or don't keep selling anything. If people really want something, they'll come to you. But yes, make your presence significant. That's 5 minutes? Oh, okay. All right, so this is kind of what my personal branding has given me. So the top guy is one of my clients, and the other one is my college friend. The one I kind of dropped out and he completed the graduation and all that stuff. But that is pretty much the proof that yes, my personal branding really worked, you know. The client and my college friends and everyone is recommending me. That means my personal branding is going out there. Now the customer advocacy, okay? So what is customer advocacy and how do you earn that? It's a very basic thing. You go out, like, what is that store with the cheap stuff? Primark? Yeah? Oh my God, I shopped like crazy, man. Like I went mad. I was picking up every single thing that is coming on my way. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back my country and say that next time you go to London, go to Primark. What is that? That is a customer advocacy. Customer advocacy starts with a customer delight. And hence, my every startup and my every company is customer-centric cultured. Customer comes first for us. And this customer is even my employees. The way I behave with my employees defines the way I'm going to behave with my customers. And this has been our culture, which we follow in every startup, including the RunCloud, which we have like global team, and we make sure that every single client in 100+ countries are getting equal attention. So how do you do that? You don't have to do anything big and keep sending them swags all the way, you know, to their house to make them delighted. If they are subscribed to your services, make sure that you're giving them a good support. Just give them an amazing support. Just make sure that you're taking care of your customer need. And if you want a good example, come and join the RunCloud Facebook group. I tell you, people were beating the shit out of us. They hated us. Why? Why your panel doesn't have this feature? Why the panel doesn't have that feature? Okay, there was a storm. There was a negative storm. Then you go a little bit up on the latest forums and latest posts, you will see the same customers, they started liking us because we started listening to them. We started delivering what they're asking for. You know, so you have to focus on customers' need and give them the amazing customer support. You know, that is how you build the customer advocacy. And if the customer is happy, they go out and talk about your brand. They bring in more and more clients. That is how the things have happened. I started busy serving my clients in Host My Blog. I started with one blog, and currently I'm managing 500+ WordPress sites, including the clients from Canada, US, and all over. They started giving me the white label service as well. And this, absolutely zero marketing. Completely personal branding, focusing on keeping the company customer-centric, and they going and marketing me. Including, there were times when people were talking negative about my brand. I was completely silent. As a company, as a brand, I have to be patient on that. My customers, tens and hundreds of them, they went and they started replying on that tweet, and they put that tweet so down that it was all positive up there. So that is how important the customer advocacy is. This is what the reviews that comes in, my happy customers, and trust me, every single customer that I've worked with, the clients that I've worked with, they have given me minimum 10 clients. And what I started as a company with 2 clients and then hibernated for 8 months, currently I manage the blogs of the top celebrities in my country, you know, and all this is because of the good experience that my clients are having. So don't worry, I have my Facebook page, you can read these reviews over there. Now the last thing, ethics and transparency. You can see that I have been very friendly and transparent about whatever I'm doing with my brands, you know. Start doing that with your clients. Diplomacy is needed. Diplomacy is definitely needed in your business, but not at the cost of ethics and transparency, you know. So how do you do that? Just have an honest and open communication. If you can't do something, don't commit. If you can't deliver it on time, don't overcommit. It's as simple as that. Be open about it. I have seen my clients saying that the job is so urgent, I desperately need that project. I be honest to them that you want this thing to be done in 2 days, you're going to be in a big mess because this thing is critical. It needs some kind of an understanding. I make them understand the other side of the story. And 99% of the time they agree. 1% are something they are not meant for me, so I just let them go. And why Host My Blog managed to be so successful, why RunCloud has managed to double the revenue in just 6 months is because we make people understand and we educate people about our product just like we are dealing with a 5-year-old. Every customer that walks in, I make them understand the server management just like they are 5 years old. And they understand that, yeah, this is really powerful, we want to go about it. The last thing is buzz factor. Do you guys know what is buzz factor? Google it later, it's really important. It's when you are running a show, a solopreneurs, you know, you're the only key person in the company. Yours is not a corporation that if you die, there's a big board of directors going to run your company. You're the face of the company, you're the main person of the company. What if something happens to you? You go out, get hit by the bus, and now you kept your client stranded. How are they going to, like you're dead, and you made sure that nobody other than you has access to any of your important accounts. And that worried me. Because when I started Host My Blog, I was offering domain services, I was offering hostings, I was offering theme customization and all the services. The day I realized the buzz factor, the first thing I did was completely removing the services that could lock my client down if something happens to me. And the first step was domain. Domain transferred. I have stopped domain services. Hosting, I'm okay because you have access to your files. You can just take it and move out. That Raj is dead, it's okay, my files are not. Yeah? But domain, dude, you need an access. Because if I am gone, your domain is gone. Yeah? Then sit and maybe bid for your own domain later. I didn't want that to happen. So I moved all my focus toward the services that can still run without me being there, physically present. And again, the example of being transparent, being honest, educating the customer, and this is the example of reviews that comes in when I clearly tell them that what is wrong and what is good for their websites or whatever the service they are coming to me for. These are pretty much all the tools that I use. So a lot of people assume that because I'm maintaining 500 plus WordPress, I must be having a fancy big office and with tens of thousands of tools. No, this is what I use. And it doesn't cost me fortune, seriously. Okay? Did you guys click? You want to? Okay. Cool? And that's not me. Thank you so much. And still the best part about this talk is there's a free cake. Forget about my talk.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause, please, for Raj. We are not quite finished there yet. Oh, sorry. So, a couple of things. A big, happy second anniversary to RunCloud. I think they need a big round of applause there. We do, I understand there is a cake, but before the cake comes in, any questions? Do we have any? Hang on. The candles lit.
Before we cut the cake, I can take some questions.
I think the candles lit.
I can decide which big pie goes to whom.
So again, a big round of applause for RunCloud. There is cake for all.
Any questions, guys? You have a question.
Thanks, Raj. It's an awesome talk. It's a pleasure to be your buddy for the last couple of years. And do jiggle digit, but I'm not going to lend you any money. Okay.
Thank you so much. Anyone? Questions? You?
How do you find the right platform where your audience is?
You mean how do I find the right platform to start my personal branding? That is where the first step comes in. Identify your niche, identify your interest, and then identify where your interest is. You know, the segment or the people that you're targeting. For example, I was targeting bloggers. Every blogger is there on Twitter. Every minute they are tweeting something or the other. So I saw the engagement is there. So let me get familiar and let me get started with Twitter. Then with RunCloud, I saw that every potential user, especially the WordPress community, it's there on Facebook. Twitter is not a game for WordPress. It's on the Facebook groups. I started Facebook group. So what does this mean? You have to identify your niche, identify your segment, and see where they are, and then go on that platform. So it's I think we have pretty much less choice, like Twitter, Facebook. If you are into B2B, then LinkedIn, unless you want to go on Tinder. So that's totally up to you. Any more questions?
Is there a reason you decided to stop, selling domains rather than hire someone? Don't believe in employment?
So the reason why I stopped selling the domains and not went into hiring people is because I can't afford a company, or I can't afford to build a big corporation and board of directors that can still run after me. It was a small business that I started. However, our RunCloud is a multi-million-dollar business, and we have a very big team sitting there. So in this, we take all kinds of a risk, because if all the founders and all the partners are dead, the show will still go on. In my case, it was a small business. I didn't have much of a money to put up an office and hire the team and all that. So I decided let go all the services that could lock my clients out and just focus on the things that are easy. Like for example, the big money giving is number 1, WordPress maintenance. Number 2 is cloud hosting. And number 3 is I sometimes do the theme customization. I don't even call it web development. I clearly tell my clients that I'm doing theme customization. That is what the transparency is. Be transparent with your client. If you're using a page builder, if you're using a theme, just be transparent. So I started all these things, and it's giving me pretty much good amount.
Just one last follow-up question. Maybe I misheard. Now, have you paid your sister or have you not paid her? The story changed.
Okay, so to be honest, back when I started in 2015 and I borrowed my sister's credit card and for $300, that amount was still big for me from October 2015 until December 2016. So all this while, I was just paying big fines on the credit card when I finally paid that entire amount at one go. So yes, I made sure I'm paying her back before she gets married.
I was going to say a big round of applause, but honestly, this has been fantastic. I think I really, really appreciate Raj. Thank you so much for what you've done this evening. Yes. Have you got to cut the cake? Have we got a knife?
Do we have a knife?
Have we got a knife in the room? Whilst we're waiting for a knife, I just want to say a huge thank you to both our speakers, Raj and Paul, this evening. It's been really interesting that actually we've talked about personalizing content, humanizing our brand. There's some synergy across all of this that is really interesting. And the two talks are very separated in terms of their focus, but actually interesting talking about this kind of synergy. So a big round of applause for both Raj and Paul for this evening. I think we're still waiting on the cake, waiting on the knife, but I'm just going to quickly wrap up on a couple of things. I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Green Geeks, SiteGround, WP Engine, Plesk and Weglot for supporting us this evening. As always, we are continually looking for feedback, and this evening has been challenging, shall we say. As a team of organisers, there's something I just want to highlight, which is a bit challenging. We, as a team of organisers this evening, we are all volunteers. We do this because we enjoy the community, we enjoy what we do, we want to support and we want to deliver something to our community. An individual that I'm not going to highlight at all has been inappropriate, shall we say. I want to be very clear that we will not tolerate any of that kind of language, any of the kind of behaviour that our organising team have experienced this evening. I think the team of volunteers, Di, Paul, Giles, they all deserve just a huge round of applause. We're always looking for your feedback. If you have an opportunity, the feedback form is available at WPLDN.UK/feedback. You'll answer a maximum of 4 questions completely anonymously. We do plan the next event on the 31st of August. These events are always... October, thank you. These events are always the last Thursday of the month. So if you've enjoyed this, if you want to be part of this, if you're interested in speaking, if you're interested in volunteering, then we'd love to hear from you. 31st of October, venue to be determined, I'm afraid. We'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in speaking, WPLDN.UK/speak. Social, ignore this. We're going to stay right here. This place has been amazing, and as I've mentioned several times this evening, the way they've supported us. So please do put a couple of pounds behind the bar if you can, because this is a small independent business that does require our support. So it's been fantastic to be able to be here, and Ian and the team have been amazing. Leo is standing nodding. None of this was here less than 45 minutes before we got here. So a big thank you to all of them. I just want to give a final shout out to head2.org. If you're interested, if you want to get on a bike and cycle across Europe, across 6 countries, 30 days, head2.org/go. Other than that, thank you to each and every single one of you for being here this evening. Thank you for being tolerant with us, with these changes, with the venue, and please enjoy a beer behind the bar. Thank you all. Good night.